National Addictions Awareness Week sparks an annual conversation about the harm caused by substance use disorder and addiction in Canada. Here with me from Community Addiction Services of Niagara is Executive Director Janice Rutgers. Janice, thank you for joining us here in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
You have a week-long list of events starting on Monday, November 25th with the flag raising at St. Catharines City Hall. Why don't you start off by telling me why is this so important?
I think addiction is prevalent in our community, and we are seeing some trending on the rise with addictions, and some of what we're hearing is some of the drugs that are being introduced in the system are fatal. And so you hear a lot about overdoses that are not necessarily intentional. They are because people use and they don't know what they're using. So it's really important to help people to understand what addiction looks like, that it's not necessarily the homeless person on the street, and then think that there's a stigma around that. But it's anybody who's struggling, somebody who is overprescribed opioids and is trying to wean off, somebody who's overindulged in their wine or their alcohol or the weekend warriors and want help with their addiction. And so it's important for us to create awareness of what addiction is and how it looks different, and everybody's journey is a little different.
And why don't you walk us through the week's events then?
So we have a great week of events for National Addiction Awareness Week, which starts November 24th and goes to the 30th. Very fortunate at CASON, we have an events committee that have planned all this and worked really hard. So starting on the Monday, we have our flag raising at St. Catharines City Hall, and that starts at 11 o'clock. Tuesday, we have a really wonderful event at the Performing Arts Center. We're showing a movie called Ben is Back, starring Julia Roberts. Our health promoter has invited Julia Roberts to attend. We're hoping she brings her friend George Clooney with her, but we'll see.
Wouldn't that be something?
We'll see, yeah. So we have some guest speakers, some people with lived experience, and then there'll be showing of the movie. It's going to be a very, I think, thought-provoking and educational movie to share. It's a story of a mother whose son has addiction issues and shows up at the holidays. So kind of impactful and good timing for us right now. On Wednesday, we have an event at the PlaySmart Center in Niagara Falls with the Youth Gambling Awareness Program and PlaySmart. And why that's important is gambling sometimes takes a bit of a backseat, but it is an addiction. And gambling is becoming a lot more accessible with a lot of these online places that are now legal, that people are gambling and, quite frankly, can be losing their house. So that's a very important event. Thursday, we are at the Ice Dogs game. And we're really excited about that, to be part of that. The Ice Dogs, as you know, are doing fantastic this year, so we're really hoping that with us cheering, they're going to get a win. And we're also involved in the puck drop that night, so it's kind of fun for us. And on Friday, we have a really special event with the Niagara Region Native Center. They are having a sacred fire for us. It's called Healing After Heartbreak, and this is for anyone who has lost a loved one to an opioid overdose or to addiction, who would like to come down and write a letter to their loved one. And that'll be thrown in the fire, and the fire will be tended from 1 till 4:30. And it's a really good time, I think, for remembrance and connection, healing, and hope going forward. So we're very happy to and honored to be able to take part in that with the Niagara Region Native Center.
And now Community Addiction Services of Niagara is a nonprofit agency. What are some of the services that you do offer?
So we offer services in addiction across the spectrum. So we offer services from a harm reduction approach, because somebody might not quite be at a stage where they want to be completely abstinence-based, and right up to a completely abstinence-based. We offer one-on-one counseling, day treatment, early treatment, youth services. We offer different types of evidence-based therapies and support groups to our folks. We also have a really wonderful family support program because, as you know, addiction is not just an individual issue, it tends to be a family issue. And so we work with the families in helping them to cope with their loved one who's using.
And that leads me right to my next one. For family members who do have loved ones struggling with addiction, what advice would you offer as a starting point for them?
I would say work with what's within your control. As a family member, you might not want your family member to use. You can see the health impacts it's having on them, but until they make that choice to change, they can't change. You're wanting them to change is not going to make it change. So I would say, what can you do? And maybe it's looking at yourself. What kind of boundaries do you need to set? How can you stop from being an enabler or codependent? And I think it's a bit of an eye-opener for families because they want to know what they can do to help that person when really they need a lot of support themselves, and so that they can live a healthy life without this constant stress and worry.
And we were talking a bit earlier about how it can be a little bit extra stressful around the holiday time.
Oh, absolutely. I think probably some of the best tips we can give for people who are in recovery is, carry a non-alcoholic drink with you if you're at events all the time, so people are less likely to want to offer you a drink. If you do accidentally have a drink or purposely have a drink, adjust your thinking, because if you think, oh, I had one, I'm going to be okay, you're not. One is too many and 1,000's not enough. And I think we also need to adjust our attitudes towards what the holidays should look like. And that's for anybody, whether you have addiction or not, because we have this mental view that it should be like a Norman Rockwell type of Christmas where everybody's happy and getting along. But the reality is there's people there that trigger us. And if you are using, it can trigger you into using again. So be aware of what those triggers are. Try to avoid them. Create a plan for yourself for the holidays, maybe attend more of your programs, whether that's some of the groups that we offer at CASON or AA or NA or Gambling Anonymous, but whatever it takes to get you through the holidays. And just try to live your healthiest life. Give back to your community. There's always volunteer opportunities. Look at your health and well-being as a holistic approach. Just take care of yourself.
All some great advice. Thank you so much for joining us in studio today.
Thank you. It was great to be here.